An Isabella County family is at the center of a U.S. Supreme Court case that was decided this week. It comes after a years-long battle that played out in several lower courts.
It stems from an unpaid property tax bill. The county foreclosed on their home near Mount Pleasant because of those unpaid taxes.
13 on your side's Peter Elliott spoke with both sides. He joins us now with their arguments before the nation's highest court.
Lauren and Juliet, this is a complicated case with a lengthy backstory. The U.S. Supreme Court debated this in February and just issued a ruling this week, along with several other dozen decisions. The main question this case tries to answer is, what are you owed after the government takes your property and sells it?
We will hear argument this morning in case 2595, Pung versus Isabella County.
From Union Township to the highest court in the Union.
I think it's probably the first U.S. Supreme Court case that's come out of Isabella County.
Amid a flurry of weighty decisions issued this week by the 9-member panel, there's one with local ties flying under the radar.
So the case is about tax foreclosures.
It elevated a property foreclosure fight between Isabella County and the Pung family, which owned this ranch-style house in Union Township.
There was a lot of litigation that happened before the Supreme Court litigation with regard to whether the taxes were actually owed.
Matt Nelson is a partner with Warner, Norcross, and Judd. He represented the county in the Supreme Court proceedings. On the other side,
what happened to the Pungs was deeply unfair and unjust and could not have possibly resulted in just compensation.
That's the contention of Deborah LaFetra, an attorney with Pacific Legal Foundation. The roots of the case go back to a years-long dispute with the county tax assessor over a 2012 tax bill of $2,242.
The county decided the best possible thing to do was to foreclose on this $200,000 house over a $2,000 disputed tax.
The county sold the home at a public auction for $76,000. A year and a half later, a buyer flipped it for $195,000.
What do you get back from the government after they sell the property?
The Pung family argued they were owed the difference between the unpaid taxes and the fair market value of the house if it had been sold by a realtor.
And the U.S. Supreme Court said, no, that's never been the way this has worked. You have plenty of opportunities once you receive notice that your taxes are unpaid to either pay the taxes or sell the property.
In its opinion, the court writes that selling property at a hypothetically fair value would make tax sales difficult and impractical for local governments as a debt collection tactic.
People who don't pay their property taxes shift the burden of local governmental services to everyone else who is paying their property taxes. So this is the remedy of last resort for the county.
This case is still not over. It is being remanded to the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati to address the fairness of the auction itself. That was something that loomed over the entire case. But in the end, the justices concluding that based on precedent, the auction sale is just compensation. In the newsroom, I'm Peter Elliott, 13 on your side.